So Mashiach is definitely not a solo mission. This is not about one person with a cool Batman cape saving the world. No. This is about all of us individually and collectively working together to make this world a home for God, to make the animal soul a chariot for God. So it's individual because it involves me doing my own inner work and my own work of bringing Mashiach. And at the same time, we're doing this as a global mission. We're doing this as the Jewish people spread out throughout the entire world, each individually working on our animal soul, making our vessel, our body, a home for God. And that's collectively what's going to allow the entire world to become a home for God. A big part of Mashiach is that Klipas Noga, which is anything permitted, will no longer conceal godliness. Rather, they will reveal it, as they will be elevated to holiness through all the mitzvahs we did in exile. Right, so right now, when you say a blessing on an apple, the apple goes up. It goes up from the realm of klipas noga, permissible, to kedusha, to holiness. But suddenly, does your apple start glowing? Not so much. But in the days of Mashiach, we're going to have the eyes to see the work that we've done throughout exile. As it says, then all flesh will behold godliness together, and he will appear over them with the majestic beauty of his power, and the glory of God will fill the whole world. Like we're saying, this is about the entire world becoming a home for God. It's not like, Hashem, you're welcome into my home, just don't go to the basement. Don't look at my cobwebs over there. No, it's been turning the entire world into a vessel for God. That begins with turning my entire life into a home for God. Not just this part of my life, not just my life when I'm in synagogue, but my life in business, my life in my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my students, my relationship with the stranger on the street. It's bringing God into all of our life. It says, Israel will see eye to eye. The human eye will see the truth of godliness, just as the supernal eye sees it, just as they saw it at the giving of the Torah. Full clarity. Well, if you think about it practically, we're getting rid of klipa, which is the peel, it's the husk, it's concealment. When you get rid of klipa, what's left is godliness. The Mashiach is not about creating something new. It's about revealing what's already here. It's about pulling back the layers of concealment. It's about changing my own perspective and my own consciousness and getting rid of sins, which are just clouding the way, and bringing in mitzvahs, bringing in the clarity. And from there, we're going to be able to see the world as God sees it. And if you think about this for a second, imagine if you saw yourself as God saw you. Not seeing ourselves as all my imperfections and my lacks and my insecurities, but seeing us as a God-created creation. Right? God put his signature on us. We are God's creation. When we're putting ourselves down, we're putting God down. Really see ourselves as God sees us. There's a shliach that the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent, Rabbi Hecht, and he wrote to the Rebbe saying, I can't do my mission. I was sent to this rural community to try to build Jewish life, and I can't do it. And so I don't know if it's a rural community. It's rural in a Jewish sense, meaning it was not developed Jewishly. And he said, I don't think I can do the mission. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe wrote back to him saying, don't worry, I already sent a rabbi there, Rabbi Hecht, and he will help you. He's capable of this mission. And of course, it's Rabbi Hecht writing the letter. Meaning from the Rebbe's perspective, he was like, you don't know who you are. I've sent you. You are the person in charge. Get to know yourself. So when we see ourselves through God's eyes, when we get to know ourselves, we can see our lives become beautiful and with ease, and we're able to really embody our mission. And so Mashiach is the idea that we're seeing the world through a godly lens. We're not seeing it from this, isolated on my own little island. We're seeing it from a much more cosmic sense. Of which it is written, you showed yourself so that it be known that the God is the Lord. There's nothing else besides him. Havaya is Elokim. Meaning that God's transcendent power, known as Havaya, Shem Havaya, God's name is Havaya, Yud and Hey, and Vav and Hey, is within God's name Elokim, which is the power of concealment. So even in this world where all we see is concealment, we don't see infinity, within that is your power of infinity. Within that is God as he transcends the world, even as he transcends infinity. Right? So meaning when we say Elokim, God's name is Elokim, we're talking about God as he created the world. But that's just God as he created the world. What about God as he's beyond creating the world, right? And so God as he's beyond everything is still intimately involved with us in our everyday affairs, which is also one of the main messages of Purim, is that we're seeing that even though in the Megillah we don't see God's name even once, but it's God running the show the entire time. And to have that perspective is to see God's transcendent light within the mundane details of our life. So what will happen in times of Mashiach to the three impure klipot? What's going down? So the klipas noga is a supply channel, the connection between holiness, which is life, and the three impure klipas, which is death. So when the supply gets cut off, what happens? Bye-bye klipa, peace out. It's been swell, It's Through the ascent of Klippas Noga to holiness, the three impure Klippas will be utterly nullified and annihilated. For their nurture and vitality, which they receive from holiness, comes to them only by way of Klippas Noga, the intermediary between them. So you have holiness, which is pure good. You have Klippas Noga, which has concealment, but there's goodness inside, and then you just have the three harsh Klippas. So if Klippas Noga, the permissible aspects of this world, are no longer just permissible, they get elevated into holiness through our mitzvahs, the supply chain for concealment gets cut off. Thank you for taking the time to explore today's Tanya together.